think we're live. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us for Books, Whips, and Sip Book Club. This quarter we are talking about The Women by Kristin Hannah. And we're changing it up a little bit this quarter, because I've got like 50,000 other people with me. So as you can see, normally I only have one person that's calling in or streaming. Oh my gosh, now the dog's got my arm. Anyway, so I'm going to just say the name of everybody here so you guys can get to know everybody. But these ladies all, we're all in a Sip and Stitch together here locally in St. Louis, and we were originally going to have Chelsie on, and she was going to talk to me about this book, but then we started talking in our group chat, and then all of a sudden, all of us had read the book. So, well, except Alex. She's just here for the snacks.
Throw her in the bus, Kristin.
That's real nice.
I know, I'm sorry.
I'm gonna read it, I promise.
Okay, all right, so that's Alex. Hi, Alex.
Hi.
We have Chelsie over here, I already mentioned. And then over here we've got Wendy and Brikena and Sheri and Jeanne. And then in Jeanne's lap is Frankie, and then somewhere around here, I'm sure you'll see him, is Lucky. He's the yarn thief. So, welcome everybody. We're so happy to have you. Were you able to log on and see? Yes. So Chelsea's gonna, oh, look at that. It's right there. It's all set up.
Right here too.
We got you, boo.
Oh, fun. All right, so as you guys log in and you guys have comments rolling in, obviously my camera is like way across the room, but we're going to have your comments pulled up, and so we can try and keep track of that as we get into the discussion. So, yay. And we're working on projects and eating and sipping things.
Water.
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 Did Jesus already get to that one? He turned that water to wine right there.
It's a cup holder.
Phone here. I was gonna say, move that.
Thanks.
Move it to the basket.
To the basket?
Yes. Move the basket.
But then I can't read it because I'm old.
Okay, I guess I'm not drinking my coffee tonight. It's good. Fine. Everything's fine.
All right. Okay, so we are here to discuss The Women. I really like this book. I love Kristin Hannah. She's like,
The Nightingale. The Great Alone.
yes, I think The Great Alone is still probably
Her
my
best.
favorite.
Yeah.
I really like The Nightingale, and I did read that one first, but I think The Great Alone is her best.
It is.
Personally speaking.
I started listening to Four Winds today.
Oh, did
I
you?
had read it years ago, but
Love
now
it.
I'm listening to
I
it.
just
Four
finished it
Winds.
not long ago.
I had a hard time getting into Four Winds. I found the daughter to be very unlikable.
Oh,
I was very frustrated.
She was.
Yes. But that's, I feel like, she was still relatively realistic, I guess, so there's that. I don't know.
That's where I found out that dog food became better in the 20s, because if people you ate it
Yeah.
before that, they died.
Speak up.
oh.
Well, now I'm clamming up.
Because people didn't have anything to eat, and they resorted to eating dog food, and they would die. So that's when it became better, more
Quality.
quality for the dogs, and I guess people, if you have to resort to that.
People eat
That's strange. I didn't know that. Was that in the book?
cat food. People eat cat food.
Maybe that's where the
Okay.
research came from, reading the book. But
I don't remember that.
yeah.
No, these people don't eat cat food.
I'm not eating my boy's cat food. Are you
Um,
insane?
Just really quick, can you guys hear us okay? Because I don't have a separate microphone, so my phone is way across the room, and we tested it earlier. I think it's picking up, and we're going to try and project as much as we can so that you guys can hear us okay. But if you guys are having problems hearing us, just let us know in the comments. Okay, so we all read this book kind of a while ago, so now I'm going to try and do a synopsis here.
You have cutesy little tabs and everything. Look at you.
I annotated. Look at
Oh,
this.
sweet.
That's how she gave me the book. She lended me the book, and I'm like, ooh, she found something interesting in this book.
Well, it's like, which one was it?
Which one was it?
So it's a historical fiction about the Vietnam War and kind of the repercussions of that from the people that were there at Vietnam, whether they were serving in the military or whether they were, hi Lucky, here's Lucky. No, stay away from my yarn. whether they were like our main character, what was her name, Frankie?
Frankie.
Yeah. She was a nurse. So it's told from the woman's perspective, which I never thought about until I got this book. And I think that's one thing that Kristin Hannah just does so well, is like really shines a light on ways that women participated in history but got left out of it. So I'm so thankful for books like this, because we need that. We need to tell those stories too. Even if it's fictionally, it's obviously based on extensive research that she's done, and people that lived things like this. So the first half of the book takes place in Vietnam, and you get to see kind of what Frankie sees on her day-to-day basis. She does not pull any punches with the graphic descriptions. I did not think. I'm sitting there reading some of those, and I'm just like, oh.
See, I thought they were kind of weak.
Really?
Yeah. But I've read a lot of Civil War books by like John Jakes and stuff, where like you want to vomit when you're reading the blood scenes. You know what I mean? And
I also think guys don't shy away from anything either.
no, I wouldn't say it's weak. I would say I could tell that it was written by a woman.
Yeah. There you go. So the first half of the book is in Vietnam, and then the second half is when she comes home, and what she and others that were at Vietnam or in Vietnam experienced when they returned, from the people that wanted to condemn them for their participation, or people who wanted to ignore that it had ever happened at all, and thus sweeping an entire generation's worth of self-worth and mental health under the rug. And
Even more so for her, because they kept telling her there were no women.
there weren't any women in Vietnam.
Yeah.
And who do you think stitched your butt, little
Exactly.
sir?
They don't know.
So, so like my first, let's talk about first reactions. First of all, I cried several times in this book, which I'm not much of a crier. I don't know if I just needed that at this point. You know how sometimes you have those books that you just need to read so you can get emotional and have a good cry. Maybe I just needed one. But I definitely cried a lot with this book. It was hard, but it was exactly what I had come to expect from this author, and she delivered 100%. Wendy, what about you?
I'm the outlier. I did not cry at all. I thought it was predictable. I kind of was like, oh, yeah, that's what's going to happen, and it did. So, but I'm not a crier normally when I read. I think I've probably read 2 books my entire life and made me cry. One was that one you made me read.
Yeah.
Which one was that?
That's a killer book. A Little Life.
A Little Life.
Oh, I still need to read that one.
I went to Panera yesterday.
So you will cry.
You did.
Even the unbreakable crier can cry during that book. But I think I'm an outlier because I didn't think it was very emotional. I felt it was a little shallow the whole time. So
Really?
I felt like the characters could have been more developed.
I cried a lot being a nurse and seeing
Yeah,
what
so
she
you have a
had to go
different-
through.
Yeah, you had a different
especially as an
perspective.
undergrad, I was like, oh my god, my heart was breaking for her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I could see that for sure.
Those
if you have
parts were
that
touching.
hands-on.
Yeah.
And how much they had to do with very little,
Right.
because the way they were describing, I'm like, how is everybody not dying from sepsis
Mm-hmm.
when they were describing
Oh, I
like
didn't think about
the
that.
continuous rain
Yes.
and all that stuff,
The
and I'm
human
like,
body
they're
is an amazing
jumping
thing.
from patient to patient,
Yeah.
and they're
No,
making it.
There's not much sterility.
Well, a lot
Yeah.
of people did die.
Well, and going back to what we're talking about the book, the
fiction.
numbers were
did,
not.
though.
But she had
No,
stuff
I
from
mean the book is fiction, so it's
the
like,
book is fiction, but she
Yeah.
had stuff from things that were communicated. She said they said nobody died today, and 7 people died just in my OR at one point. So I mean, I guess
contradictory stuff.
Right.
yeah. So I guess she's trying to say
missed that.
they were trying. Oh,
Usually that stuff sticks out in my head.
How did you miss that?
I don't know, I did. I missed the part
She's-
where it was
she's
contradictory.
crying.
well, no, it's the part where they're saying something else to the public here.
Yeah.
But you can-
they're
yeah.
presenting
Okay,
it. Yeah.
sorry.
Yes.
I misinterpreted what
No,
you were
like
saying.
the
Okay,
general public is being.
sorry. I thought you were saying that as an author, Kristin Hannah was
No, no, no,
like,
no.
No,
con-
no.
contradicting herself within
No,
no.
the story,
I'm just-
and I was
no.
like, I didn't pick up on that.
No, not that. It's just
Okay.
things. that
Yeah, they were
happened.
trying to like gaslight the entire American people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And to me, also, another thing that was interesting, they were talking about people that had connections they could get away from being drafted.
Right.
And then other people, they were like, okay, if I'm going, if I have to go, let me volunteer so that at least I can pick
Yeah.
the branch myself where I want to go. So that
Right.
was interesting too.
Yeah.
And then the letters that her mom kept writing to her, it's all about parties and
Right,
how
yeah.
life is still the same.
Yeah.
They're
With
It was
everything
so
that
sad.
they're
Her parents
going
were so
through.
disappointed in her.
Yes,
She made this ultimate sacrifice. Yeah.
she did, and she wasn't on that wall.
Yeah. Questions another.
When she found her fiance, she got ready to go on the wall, but
Anybody else want to chime in on the first impressions?
I
Chelsie?
think that's what made me the most mad. Like, I can't imagine living in that time period and being so upset that your daughter signed up to go save lives, and you tell everybody you know that she went to, what was it, Italy?
Italy.
She went to Italy. She's basking in Rome. She's doing whatever.
Right.
It's just a cultural thing, though.
Yeah, they
It's
were
so
embarrassed.
infuriating.
It was
But
the
he was
time.
so
thing.
mad at himself for not having, which they never described why her father couldn't serve, but he was so mad
He
at
had some
himself.
medical.
Yeah, I thought they said
They
that.
did mention it at the beginning.
It was
So,
something
He
medical.
was 4F or something.
So upset that he couldn't, but now that you pushed your son, but now you're ashamed of your daughter.
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean,
I think that was a reflection of him and like his insecurities of the fact that he wasn't able to.
Yeah.
was it also the times?
yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. It's a combination of factors.
yeah.
Look at me, I said combination of factors like I sound smart or something. Don't get used to that.
Multi-factor. A lot.
Next level. Sherry, Jeanne, Alex. Well, you haven't started. Never mind. Sorry. I'm not trying to call you out. I'm really not. I just forget.
Wait list, okay?
There's 500 bazillion people.
Well, you need to speak up, lady, because we had some of the same opinions, and I don't want to.
I will
only
back
one.
you. I did not cry during the book.
Yeah.
I did cry during the one I am reading right now.
And
But
which
so I
one
am
are you reading?
able to cry while
She's
reading.
not a robot.
Not this one.
What book are you reading now?
The Things We Cannot Say.
Oh yeah. That
Oh, yeah.
I can't get through it. It's like a chapter a day. Sometimes just a page.
Some books are just so hard.
Huh?
Author?
I forgot the author,
Is that
but
Lucy Foley?
No, it's
No.
is it Anthony
Door?
Dorr?
The things we cannot see?
No.
Say.
All the
Oh,
way.
okay.
Yeah,
It's a
you're thinking
No,
about the why
no,
we
yeah.
cannot see.
Yes,
it's
Which
okay.
is also
Yeah.
a really
It's-
good book.
it is.
Yes.
It's an amazing book.
Did you watch the Netflix thing?
Yeah.
Was it Netflix?
So
It was
good.
Netflix.
Yes, it was good.
I binged it
You're
in one
so
day.
cute. You forget I have 2 kids at home. When do I ever get to watch television?
I don't have, I don't have TV time.
I stayed up all night and binged all like 3 episodes in one night. So.
It's one that Zach wants to watch too, so I'm gonna wait.
It was, yeah, it's
Yeah,
good.
it's on Netflix cheat. It's not good for marriages.
which one?
Netflix cheating.
Oh,
Like when you watch the episode before he gets to.
That's what Ed said.
I get so
He
mad
said
at Bob
that's
when he
what-
does
What am
that.
I gonna watch? Because we're watching Handmaid's Tale right now. He's like, what am I gonna watch? I have to find something.
Find something else, but don't cheat on my show, man.
Right? Don't you?
I told mine.
Wait, so what about your thoughts on stuff here, Jeanne, like on the book? First impressions.
Oh, well, I was infuriated
Yes.
that her parents were ashamed of her and so proud of her.
Also, for some
Such a young
background,
girl.
Jeanne is a retired nurse.
Such a young girl to go into, I can't even imagine. Like, it's a whole nother world. Literally. Boom.
And the
you're
times
there.
were different. It was harder,
Yeah.
even more
Yeah.
harder for her.
And just the roughing it and living in those conditions and then having to mentally go through all that and just being a new grad and trying to practice your skills. And I can't even imagine.
And I
Just
was
very
very
shocked
shocked when she showed up for her shift before and after. When
Yeah.
she showed up to the hospital for her shifts, how strict and how like it was more important for her little uniform to be
Oh,
right
that
versus
is
what skills she had
Right.
and what she could do and bring to.
there was one part in that when she's working in the hospital where the bureaucracy got to be too much for me. I was like, this is so typical. I mean, I
Right.
still deal with it today where it's like, just the, like, instead of saving someone's life, like, you should just follow the rules.
Yeah.
And, like, don't deviate from them.
Yeah.
That part got me. That's the only. I think
Talk
that's the only
about-
part that actually got me.
Yeah, that kind of stuff makes me mad
upset.
too. Like with, that's why I don't do what I used to do because.
What did you?
I was just trying to look and see if there were comments or anything that I had missed. So like I swiped up on it and then like filled the whole screen, and I didn't mean to do that.
I was gonna say, is anybody watching
And
this?
now it looks weird.
I was gonna say what's wrong.
Yeah, there's people watching.
How
You
can
can say hi. Hi. My friend Layla's on. I saw her pop on.
Yes, she's on. I haven't seen any comments though. You didn't miss
Yeah.
anything.
No, I was just double checking. Okay, so that covers first impressions. Let's see. I have my whole handy dandy outline. Everybody that watches that's tuned in for these things before, like I am so type A. I have to have an outline because it helps us stay on track. You're laughing at me. I see it.
She's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I
You're
never Too faster. No, I'm not. No, I'm very organized. That's pretty good.
How did the portrayal of the Vietnam War in the women impact your understanding of this historical period? Let's see.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Okay, how did the way that she wrote Vietnam in here, how did this impact your understanding of that time period, like in real life?
I think I already knew, you know what I mean, that it was like that. So I knew about the lying and the misrepresentation and
I think the thing that
General
struck me is
abuse.
I wasn't aware, like, there's knowing, and then there's knowing,
Right.
and, like, I've been told about this stuff, but I still feel like even with our education, like, I don't know if they're suddenly teaching more about it nowadays, but at least when we were going through school, and speaking for myself here, like, they glossed over this war.
They did.
And there's still not a lot
So-
about it.
I guess I have a different perspective because when I was young, I worked at a hardware store with a bunch of old men
Oh,
that were like,
I love to tell war stories.
and so I knew so much at like a young age just from like their like
Listening to them.
stories they would share. And I worked there for like 2 years and I loved all those guys, you know what I mean? And like, so I always kind of had this really jaded perspective of that war in general.
Well,
You know,
yeah.
like I knew how bad, how much they were just taken advantage of, and how many lies were told, and you know, it was just. And I don't always trust the government. So can I say that?
Yes.
It definitely wasn't MASH, like you would say.
No, not at all.
To
Yeah.
be fair, though, that was also the Korean War.
Oh, sorry.
But still. I told you I'm a MASH nerd.
Sorry,
I told you. No way down
It's
here.
true, though.
It's like, that's my comfort show. That's.
I used to watch
It was
MASH when I was
interesting to me, just the part where what they're dealing with, like how rough it is, and yet they went to her and they were like, "Oh, you signed up for your second tour. You need to go for an R&R to what, Hawaii?"
Hawaii.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah.
Here you go.
You get thrown
First
in
of all,
the,
here you go
like,
to
comments
Hawaii.
and boom, into Hawaii.
But also, in all the mess that you think about war, there is also a lot of organization with keeping track who's doing what,
Yeah.
where they are, with the packages getting where they need to go,
Right.
like the mail, the postage, and all that stuff. It was interesting to me.
Even
just to
all of
see-
like the fatalities, like how did they keep track
Yes.
of all that? Like how so many people were killed in these big, huge.
Well, that's why there's still so many POWs, you
Yeah.
know, and missing MIAs, you know, like, they weren't keeping track of it.
They were. I mean, they did their best, but
Yeah.
but that's what we're saying. Like at the time of war, I feel
Yeah.
like they were very organized for the circumstances that war brings. And
Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody else have anything to add on that?
Here for the snacks.
Here for the snacks. Okay. How did Frankie's decision to join the Army Nurse Corps shape her character, and how does it reflect the changing societal expectations for women in the 60s? Do I need to say that again slower? Because that was a long one.
Yeah, I think that went over my head.
All right, so Frankie decides to join the Army Nurse Corps.
Yeah.
How does that shape her character, and how does it reflect changing social expectations for women during that time?
So,
I don't think she had a clue what she was.
I don't think she had a
Yeah.
character yet. I think that
It made a woman out of her.
was her that was her coming to story.
It
You know
was
what
her
I
coming
mean?
of age
Yeah,
story.
like that's. Before that, she was moldable. She was still a child. You know.
Right. Naive.
Yeah. I don't think
sheltered.
I don't think she knew what she was getting herself into at all.
I think she even said that she
Yeah.
was completely blindsided by it.
Yeah.
And you could tell that she was
So-
still learning about all the things
Yeah.
that a woman will learn about, like
But
falling in
as
love.
far as how that impacted other women,
I know how like that. Like wait, hang on, I gotta read it again.
she doesn't know her own
How
person.
does like the way she adjusts to that role, like coming from this naive girl and then seeing now she's like a woman of the world, really. Like she has been introduced to life in a very, very in your face kind of way.
Right.
And it's changed her. It's made her, you know, more independent, more
Yeah.
free thinking, and not willing to just accept what everybody tells her. She's ready and willing to make her own informed
I don't think
ideas
she had a
about things.
choice.
She didn't have a choice, but she missed out on a lot of learning how to grow as
Yes.
a person.
Obviously. As we find out later in the book.
Yes,
She is
She had the
emotionally stunted.
concept of,
she
like,
is.
relationships and how
Yeah.
to,
Yeah.
She
But
at
I-
least didn't do it totally on her own though, because she had those two
girls.
Oh my
were
gosh,
her
yes.
life.
Yeah.
And granted, they came from totally different backgrounds. So not only did she have to learn how to grow herself in this freakishly, hellishly crazy world that she's been tossed into, but she's also got to learn some other backgrounds, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Because what was her closest friend's name? I forget.
the black gal.
The black gal. Was it Ruth?
Hang on, I'm sure I got it on here somewhere.
It's been months since I read
Or
the book.
not.
Barb was one of them.
It was
Oh,
yeah.
Barb.
Was it Barb? Yes, Barb. So, I mean, there were a few things that she had to learn that, like, Barb couldn't do, or whatever, because wasn't
Right, because of her race.
Yes. So, I mean,
Living while black,
a
apparently.
learning curve in that regard, too, because I feel like if I remember right, she said something or did something, and Barb was kind of like,
Put off.
yeah,
Yeah.
we don't do that here, kind of thing.
Right. Yeah.
So,
I think too that, you know, I think there was, you know, speaking to the change of how women coming out of certain generations responded to Vietnam, it's kind of similar to, I think, the women of coming back from World War II. Because, like, during those times, they had autonomy. They experienced autonomy that society never permitted to them before, simply by virtue of the fact that the men
There were
weren't
no
around.
Yeah, but
So,
The second
they
they
were
came
also
back,
more well
though,
accepted though when they came back.
yes, that
And
is the big
celebrated.
difference. That's
Yeah,
the difference
right.
for the soldiers
Yeah.
in general. I'm
Yeah.
speaking to the women and
women.
just how
Yeah.
their
they kept
experiences.
society going
Yeah.
when men were away.
But like Frankie goes
It's nice
out.
that was recognized though. Still, I mean, like you got Rosie the Riveter. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Stuff like that.
agreed.
Yeah.
There's a recognition. That's not what I'm trying to
Oh,
get at.
okay.
I'm getting at the autonomy. I'm
Oh,
thinking
okay.
about like feminism and how it
Oh.
was affected. So like you have Frankie goes off to war and she's respected. She is like looked up to. Like
There.
people. Yeah, she doesn't have to defend her expertise and what she's good at. Like she tells you to do this, then you better do it because you know that I know what I'm talking about.
Right.
Versus, well, I'm sorry, miss, but you don't have any experience.
Yeah.
yes, you go clean the bedpans again.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it was definitely like it's like the blinders come off, you know, like she was so sheltered and then all of a sudden she's got all of this autonomy. She's respected. She's, for all intents and purposes, actually being treated like an equal person to a man. And then they come home and all of that is not only gone because she's female, but gone because everybody wants to forget about or
Yeah.
condemn
It was just
this particular
stripped
war.
away from them.
So it was
yeah.
like a double whammy for her
And you also see
and
the
for that
difference-
generation of women that did this stuff.
Yeah.
the difference from when she came home and from when Rye came home.
Yeah.
How that changed too.
You just, that was
I mean,
a
there
spoiler.
still were the solution. Let me count my stitches now.
Sorry.
Were we not supposed to
Read the
do
book.
spoilers?
Yeah, we're trying to do the spoilers. I have a couple more questions, and we might It's almost 7:25. I know, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention it. We've done it so many times.
I mean, I said it. I'm like, who came out?
I didn't even catch that was a spoiler.
Oh, that's okay. It's not a huge one, but I feel like it's definitely one.
Kristin Hannah, someone who
Okay.
Go rise.
we have her on the green one.
I still got 3 more questions of the non-spoiler variety.
Okay.
All right, so discuss the disparity between public narrative about the war and the reality. So let's talk about the lying.
Yeah, we kind of, yeah,
We hit on it a little bit.
yeah.
We did.
Do you guys think that this is something that was just a one-time thing, or you guys totally think the government still does this?
Oh,
They still do it. Are you kidding me?
With social
Hey,
media.
I'm just trying to like spur conversation.
Yeah,
Don't come at me with your pitchforks.
You touched on a hot button. I feel like it's harder with social media.
Yeah, because everybody can publish whatever they want
Yes.
now. So
But I mean,
Harder and easier, especially since our
it's
phones
also
are
easier to lie to everyone now about things that are ridiculous. So.
It's gonna take my arm.
what do you think, Lucky?
Lucky has left the building. Lucky is
Like,
looking for chips.
don't drag me in that
I
conversation.
don't have chips, Lucky. All I have is
It's
yarn.
funny trying to watch you guys talk without spoiling things. You're like, I know. it's
Mid-sentence.
hard.
I know. We all keep
Stop
talking. We're all like, I'm gonna say nothing.
No spoilers here. Find out for yourself what the government does.
You should have given us a cheat sheet. We could have studied.
Yeah, you could have asked us these questions beforehand, and then we would have been prepared with.
Sorry, I thought I sent the
Answers.
link out,
You
but
sent it to me.
okay.
I didn't
Oh.
read it.
But I also know that I can say things and nobody reads it, so
I would have read
Sent it to me,
My
and then I had
anxiety
a
would've
little
made me
child
read
being
it.
my attention. You are grapes.
I want grapes.
I do too.
Hey, grapes. You still got those grapes upstairs?
Yes.
Merida doesn't share grapes.
Oh.
Joey doesn't share food.
She, my little redhead does not share for food.
Okay.
It's not
Give us an easy
I'm
one,
not her little redhead. Give us an easy question.
right?
Okay.
She has
Sorry. I'm thinking, reading, and trying to talk all at the same time. It's not very effective.
What's the main character's name?
Earlier today.
What's the I'm fully
Oh my gosh, I'm kidding.
What differences in psyche did returning prisoner of wars have? Prisoners of war? Prisoner of wars? Prisoners of war.
Prisoners.
One war, singular.
One war,
Prisoner
prisoners
of-
plural.
Many.
There you go.
Many
Have
prisoners, one
from the
war.
returning vets. So let's talk about that a little bit. Let's talk about that stigma of being a returning POW versus coming home immediately after the war. For the Vietnam.
She does mention John McCain as a.
She does.
Oh, she
does.
does.
She
A
does.
young John McCain.
Yes,
Yes.
and there was no stigma for him. And I feel like a lot of it was also
So you knew?
not necessarily, but what the women, wives and sisters and mothers left behind, them getting together and trying to raise awareness, collect money, do all of those things for their sons and brothers and husbands.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a different effort, like a different group making that effort.
Yes.
It wasn't like it was the government really pushing
Right.
for it.
No, because you see in all the protests how they were treated.
Yeah.
So it wasn't.
Yeah. Okay. Well, are you guys ready to get into some spoiler talks?
Sure thing. Chicken wing.
Yes.
Sure thing, chicken wing. All right, so if you are joining us live stream and you have not finished the book,
Run away.
run away if you don't want the spoilers. Alex?
You stay.
She's still here for the snacks. Fair warning. Do you want to?
No, I actually want.
Do you want
I'll
earmuffs?
No, I'll like to read it later after hearing.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll enjoy it.
Okay.
I mean, she spoiled it for me, and that's what kept me going because I wanted to stop at part 2.
Yeah, she wanted to quit, but I was like, whatever you think's gonna happen is gonna happen.
And then I started throwing out ideas, and she's like, and I was
She's like, it's just
"Well,
gonna happen. I'm
read
like, yep.
So who was
I can't be
shocked?
swayed. I
Who was
can't be
shocked when
swayed.
he came home?
Not
that."
I.
Not me.
No.
I was expecting it.
I was
I was
shocked.
waiting for the brother to come back.
I didn't see
I was
it.
waiting for all 3 of them to come back.
I didn't see it coming.
Wait a minute. Which he?
What's his
All
name?
of them.
Right.
Right.
Right?
Right. Let's not. we'll talk all the major spoilers. We're gonna hit them one at a time, okay?
Okay.
Bring it. All right. In order. All right, Wendy. That's enough out of you. Wendy. She was complaining earlier. Nobody pronounces her name correctly.
Wendy.
Wendy with an E, not an I.
Thank you.
Um,
That's what people write W-I-N-D-Y. I'm like, that's not my name.
That's not my name. Okay, so who was surprised that Rye turned out to be an utter cad?
No.
I was.
I was surprised a little bit.
I
Yeah.
wasn't surprised, but I was very disappointed.
Anybody that's like,
Yeah.
like engaged but ready to like drop their fiance, you know, I don't know. I didn't think he was good.
She
for me.
pulled the wool over my eyes pretty well with that one.
I
I
did.
thought
She
like
did.
leading up to.
I had bad vibes.
She did. Had she not picked up that extra shift, she would not have found out.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, I feel that one's too soon. Okay, I guess that was.
I don't think her friends trusted him.
No, they didn't.
No.
Yeah.
They
I
did
think
not.
they
See?
had seen
I think they
And
were
what
also
is that
all
teacher?
Trust your girlfriend.
Always
Okay, but they didn't
Friends.
trust the other guy either. And
I think they had a lot more.
Well,
life
he was
experience
married.
than her.
Like,
Yeah.
he was more upfront about his
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah. Okay, so what about? Okay, let's talk about Rye coming back. Was anybody's show of hands? Was anybody surprised that Rye got off that airplane and she's on?
So
Yeah, so it's kind of like halfway. I was like, that's funny. Okay, then let's see. Given that he was married, was anybody surprised that she decided to have an affair with him?
No, she had the
No.
emotional IQ of,
A gnat house plant?
yeah, she was in bad shape.
Yeah.
She
She was looking for love in all the wrong places.
Yeah.
She was very like a sad country song.
She at that point she
You know,
was
if you
just
play those
needed the
backwards, your
chaos,
dog
I
comes
think.
back to life, your wife comes back.
Stop it, Chelsea. All right. Was anybody surprised that Jamie survived?
Yeah.
I thought.
Absolutely
not.
not.
Not at all.
Okay, so I was surprised.
Jamie, the one.
I knew it was either going to be Jamie or her brother.
Yes.
Yes.
But I was surprised on who she chose. I was expecting her to bring the brother back.
I was hoping it was going to be the brother.
I was
Yeah.
hoping to.
Same.
I didn't. I thought it was gonna be him. The
I
whole
thought it was
time.
gonna be a
I was hoping
And
it
then
would
I was like,
have
she's
been
gonna
the
walk
brother.
around the
Yeah.
other side of the memorial, and the brother's gonna be standing there.
She don't need no man.
There's
It's
a part where
okay.
it's like,
Well,
she's
I
waiting
mean,
for his name
that's
to
not the
find
message
him.
we got.
He's gonna walk up.
I feel like
Tap her on
for
the shoulder.
she did heal at the end, but I felt like if she didn't have a man, she felt like she couldn't
She
survive.
felt incomplete.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Yeah. She's
so
very codependent.
if the brother had survived and came back, do you think the parents would have treated her differently?
Yes,
Yes.
because I feel like he
He
would
would
have.
have forced
stood up
it.
for
Yeah.
her.
Well, I don't think that he would have had. He would have just said something without having to force anything, and
Yeah.
be like, "Oh yeah, my son
They
that
would
came
just believe-
that's in the wall of
The
honor
prodigal son.
said this,
Yeah.
so I have to." You know,
They
it
would
would've
just
been-
believe him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he would have stood up for her.
I think he would have stood up for her, and I think
Yeah.
that he would have been a great sounding board for her.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like somebody to like relate to when she was
Yeah.
drowning in
The
everything.
only support she had, she left behind when
Yeah.
she came home.
He likes you.
He's like, you don't have to buy.
No chips? I'm out.
No love.
No love for you. How are we doing on time? Oh, we're doing good. Okay. The novel addresses the complexities of relationships during wartime. Explore how war influences the dynamics of friendships and romances in the book. So, like,
Made everything more intense.
Yeah.
Accelerated your.
maybe making friends with people you might not otherwise have been friends with.
Well, situational, yeah, but that kind of happens.
Regardless.
Yeah, any walk of life, any job you take on. you're
Right.
gonna meet
You have a
people.
work family.
But I
you
think
know.
the desperation to connect is obviously
You're living in the moment more.
way more intense. Yeah, and so things become more than they are and more rushed than they normally would be. And
Do you think that it emphasizes feelings that would have been there if, like, that would have grown naturally anyway? Or do you think potentially we open ourselves up to newer things? That's not a chip either, Lucky. That maybe it opens us up to things that we might not have otherwise pursued.
being under that pressure.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh
absolutely.
yeah, I know. Yeah,
Mhm.
the latter part of what you said. without, you know, like, I think it's just that desperation to connect to other human beings.
Right.
You're seeing so much
Yeah.
Destruction.
death and.
That's my yarn, Lucky.
It's just like, come through here. See
It's
what
like
else
someone's
happened.
gotta have some.
Lucky. Did you want to sit on the sofa, Lucky?
Hi, buddy.
Are we
Come
in your
on.
seats?
Come on.
Oh,
sure give me your butt.
He's like, she was giving me the good scritches on the head earlier.
I gave him plenty of good scritches. And belly rubs. And hugs. And cuddles. Just no chips. That's probably my...
If you
I didn't give him my
go
chips.
home with me, is your mommy really gonna miss you that bad?
My dog will miss him.
Yeah, they're besties.
Oh, well, okay, I guess.
They
I
run the
can't.
fence together. Okay, let's explore the prevalence of infidelity in the story, especially given around the context of the war. Like, do you think, it's like a moment of what happens in war stays at war kind of a situation? Do you think, like, it's the moment of, it's that feeling of needing to live in the moment that makes it okay in their head? Like, what do you guys think made this infidelity allowable under these circumstances?
I just think we
Allowable in quotations because I'm not saying that it's allowable. I'm saying this is how they justified it.
I think if you want to
like minute to minute.
And yeah,
Yeah.
saw
Say
their
what?
friends
Just
blow
that their
up.
lives were like being lived like minute by minute.
Again,
You
yeah.
know, like an hour later.
desperation to connect.
I
You
was
know,
about to
like,
say, I don't remember.
you're in
I
a
read
strange
long time ago,
place,
but
you know, you need
She
comfort.
said something along the lines of like, she just wanted to make sure that, like, she had those relationships that she might miss out
Might miss
on.
out later. Like,
Yeah,
like
because you don't know if you're gonna die, especially
Yeah.
whenever they're being bombed and stuff. She's like,
And how much infidelity?
YOLO! No.
seriously, that's literally what I felt like it was.
How much infidelity do you think happened at home?
How much infidelity do you think
Oh,
happens
yeah.
everywhere
Question.
all the time?
Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
your
really
husband is gone for years. Like, who's cheating on
I mean, and those things still happen. You
You're
know?
gonna shoot me if I ever got drafted.
Sure.
The 4 effers.
The Ford efforts, yeah.
Couldn't go anywhere.
Those efforts. Oh, sorry. Language.
One job, G.
Did she say that word?
She started to.
I didn't hear it. You're fine.
I didn't hear. She hides it with a sip of wine.
I'm not hiding my wine glass now. Yeah. Okay. I think there was probably a lot of infidelity at home.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, I think that still happens.
I mean, it was a long
Yeah.
war, too.
I mean, it's just kind of like military in general. You hear about it.
Right.
You know, you do.
I don't want to.
I'm looking at mine.
I think I could justify it more
Yeah, it happens.
serving versus people at home.
I just want to know how many men left and came home to a child
That wasn't theirs.
that was passed off as theirs.
How
Like-
long was the war? I'm sure there was one.
Like, I've been gone for a year,
And the baby's 3 months old.
and the baby's 3 months old now.
It was premature.
Okay, maybe the baby's only a year.
Right.
Yeah, that's.
I'm sure it happened.
Oh, plenty.
So can we go back to Rye and their relationship?
Yeah.
Like,
Beauty Ray just
like
said,
she,
hi, love.
she kept
Huh?
like
Beauty
taking
Ray
him
just said,
back,
hi, love.
and he kept going back.
Hey,
to the light.
Lynn.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry,
What happened?
Just saying hi to somebody.
Oh,
Hi. Wait, what
Would you
talking
repeat that
about?
one
Well, just that she kept taking him back, and he kept going back to the wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I really,
I would.
And how selfish is he?
yeah, very
Especially
selfish.
seeing how messed
He
up
wanted
she
it both
was.
ways.
How
Yeah.
messed up she was. He
He's
knew
getting
that
what
he
he
was.
wants. He doesn't care.
Yeah.
I also think she was guilty of that, though.
I mean, she was
She
eager
just
to
didn't-
believe
I think he
what
cared, but I
was-
think he couldn't stop himself.
He could have done, or she could have done so much better.
Which she did.
So much better.
But
I don't know.
she was
awful.
eager to believe his words.
She was just.
I did not like her.
She was really tough.
I did not like her at all the second half of the book.
I didn't either. couldn't
She
stand
made
her.
all kinds of wrong choices.
Yes.
She did.
Yeah, but I think that through the lens of the mental health
Yes.
crisis that she was going through,
It made sense.
I found her to be very empathetic. Did I get frustrated? Yes, but I would get frustrated with like anybody making those choices. But I also understand what's motivating her, and that gave me empathy and understanding.
I do think her friends were trying to reach out to her and help her, and she would reject it sometimes.
Well,
Because she was in that
that's pretty
class.
common in a lot of addiction
Yeah.
cases.
Well,
Yeah.
and depression makes you do that.
And
Yeah.
that's true too, yeah. You feel
I just felt like sometimes she wanted to stay the way she was, but
It was easier for her.
easier for her to like stay.
I think that she didn't feel worthy of living, and I think that's why she wanted to stay the way she was, is because it was killing her, and she felt like she deserved it to an extent. I don't know.
She also felt like she couldn't live without a man too, though.
She was I feel like she was very codependent. She just
Yeah.
wanted a man because eventually her friends started moving on. They got husbands and started their own families. And she even
Very
said at some
evidently
point that she couldn't rely on her friends anymore because they were living their own lives.
Yeah.
So
And
she's
maybe
like,
the fact
I need one of my own because
Yeah.
I need something to lean on.
I think like that farm kind of brought her back to reality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it wasn't.
It gave
To
her a
me, it
purpose,
wasn't
at least.
emphasized enough.
No, that was
she
too quick.
was healing. Yes.
Too quick. I did not like that about it either. It just
It became like a fast forward sequence of healing.
Yeah, because
fast forward too much.
Yeah,
And I
because
was
I'm like, okay, she's just going from man to man, even
yeah, I'm like, this should be more
at the
important.
end.
Yeah, than it was. So, they really skipped over like what.
I also think that she didn't lean on her friends because she saw them having those relationships in their own lives and that they were moving on in their own lives, and I felt like she didn't want to burden them.
But she also knew that she herself had tons of nightmares.
Yeah.
And she knew that they probably were dealing with the same thing, and she didn't want to feel a burden.
I don't know. I thought I didn't see it that way. I felt like she was just stuck in this like wanting to be miserable rut. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
the dark cloud.
Yeah. So
The Eeyore of the story.
yeah. But you know, and obviously there are people like that, you know. But
Yeah. Side note, in high school, we had an assignment when we were reading Dante's Inferno where we had to take fictional characters and assign them to a symbol of hell, and I totally put Eeyore in hell. I got an A on the assignment because my teacher was so impressed with my ability to rationalize it.
Caillou would go right there for you too.
Caillou would be at the lowest level right there with Judas.
Caillou belongs in hell.
Oh my gosh, poor Caillou.
I hated him even when I was a kid. I
my
was
kids always be like,
He's so whiny.
my kids be like, why doesn't he have hair?
What?
okay, that was a good question.
Does
I
he
wanted
have
to say things.
cancer? Maybe that's why he's miserable.
Okay, we touched on this a little bit, but I'm just going to ask it again. Ryan was obviously a manipulator. Do you believe that he genuinely cared for Frankie, or was she merely an object to him?
I think he cared.
I think he cared.
I think he did too.
Yeah.
He just couldn't control
Does it
himself.
matter though?
Right.
It didn't matter.
He just made poor choices.
See, I think that's what made me so mad. Wasn't he her brother's best friend?
Yeah.
Yes.
How can you treat your brother's
Also,
Or your
can I
best
just say,
friend's
brother's
little
best friend
sister.
is one of my favorite romance tropes, and I thought like he was gonna be a good guy. That's why
Yes.
he's turning out to be a
Oh.
cat surprised me so much, is because I love that trope, and so maybe I was
I did-
projecting.
I will say, I did think that it was going to be like her way of connecting back with her brother was
Yeah.
to get with him. I did think that.
I never
That's what I
trusted him.
thought.
I didn't trust him from the get-go, so.
But
Yeah, like
I
a
have trust
snake.
issues and I too. So it's not going to end well.
Okay, so Frankie's encounter with Jamie at the dedication sparks a conversation about the hardships gained from the war. What do you think the future holds for Frankie and Jamie, and how did you interpret the overall ending of the novel? Cricket.
Sorry.
I'm trying to remember
lot.
characters. It's been a while.
So, number 12.
I guess I just assume that like she's gonna carry on and be with Jamie. Like that was my.
But he was married too, wasn't
No,
he?
he said he got a
No,
divorce.
he told her.
When he came
He
back.
told her he was available,
I feel
which
like
I felt like that was opening the door. Like, oh,
Yeah.
they're gonna be together now.
And
Yeah.
I feel like also the timing, because she had her farm and got healed. He said, I realized this wasn't working and I needed to do something for myself. So I
Right.
feel like she opened the door for a healthy healing and beginning and relationship for them.
Functional relationship, maybe.
Yeah.
I wonder why she doesn't dive in.
Are we gonna
No,
discuss
the end was
the
really
doctor?
Was open
Yeah,
ending.
but I mean, like,
Oh.
if there would be
There
a
was a
sequel or
whole
something.
break-
Well, we
Yeah.
can discuss
Are
the
we gonna
doctor.
Yeah, we need to discuss the doctor.
What was his name again? Doctor what? I don't know.
Doctor.
The doctor
I
that
would
she
say
dated.
Carlos, but I know I'm wrong.
It was Jamie, wasn't it?
No.
The Hispanic guy.
The doctor she
The
kind
one
of
that
used and
said-
spit up. She lived
Oh,
with him
that, the
everywhere.
shrink.
The
Yeah.
shrink.
Okay, I'm thinking like
yeah.
medical doctor.
No,
No, no, no,
They
no.
got
Not
engaged.
therapist.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one
Yeah.
she.
She
But
was
that's the
pregnant.
baby,
Yeah,
and that's why.
Okay, yeah. Yeah,
Well,
he
she
really
didn't-
got the short
His
end.
book is
Yeah,
not
I felt bad
He
for
was
him.
a good
I felt
friend
really
for
bad.
her.
That's what made me not like her.
He was a really good friend, and he did like. I felt like his
I feel
character
like-
showed a lot of
It's very
maturity.
thin.
Yeah. Well, he
Because even in the
Yeah.
context
So
of
let's
how
not
things
say
ended
big
with them, he
character
was still
builder.
there for her.
Yes, he
He
was a
was.
good friend to her, and he genuinely cared.
Yes.
And
Which I
I
think
feel
was
like
necessary.
she was kind of awful to him.
Oh, I was gonna say I thought like okay, I was like is Instagram doing something weird? No, Chelsea.
He
she's
wasn't
taking
in
time.
the service at any point, was he?
No,
No.
No.
he was against it. I think.
Yeah, he
Was
was.
he a draft dodger, or did he have
No.
a reason not to be in it?
He was.
I don't
Oh,
know
he
if
was
I
in
saw
college.
it.
He was
Yeah.
either in. He was like TA or something.
Yeah.
wasn't
He was older than her.
He was
He
older
was.
than her. He was quite a bit older than
Yeah.
her.
That's probably why he had.
He
a
was
brain
at one of her
instead.
dad's friends' parties. Like one of
Well,
his
yeah,
friends'
the
parties.
mom organized the benefit
Yeah.
for his hospital or the wing.
Yeah. So
Um,
I just don't think he was like of age to be drafted. But
That
they
could
don't.
be.
Yeah.
Well, he had a nephew that was older, so I don't think he was.
I did like the
Yeah.
part where he
Yeah.
said they sent the nephew to a boot camp, and then he came back making the bed, like just so.
Yeah.
Mm.
Where's this camp? Can I send my son?
Hey, I still make hospital corners when I do it, so.
I do too.
Oh,
My
yeah.
grandma taught me how to do it,
Yeah.
so I still do it.
Yeah.
The only time I like don't do that is if I'm making the boys' beds because they've got those single beds that are shoved up against the wall.
Oh,
It
yeah.
drives me batty.
Right.
Just batty.
But yeah, I feel like I feel so bad. I don't remember his name. But,
I think it's Brenner.
She's not nice. What you couldn't hear is when
I
I
just
said
said
it drives me
random
batty.
things
She
about
goes, it was a
Brenner.
short trip.
Love you.
She's not nice.
yeah, I felt like that man got the short end of the stick.
Mm.
I think I had one last question, but hang on, let me finish my stitch.
I need frog this. 2 inches too short.
Oh, it's just, do you have any final thoughts? How much time do we have left? We still got like 10 minutes, so we can just
Okay.
kind of like
Freeform.
free form. Alex, what would you like to contribute?
What were you most
I
surprised
just, I
about?
realized that the book is not long enough. It doesn't look thick enough
Ethel was
for what you guys have talked about.
It's small print.
It's very.
There's one.
I don't know. It was
It's
a
only
big
hard
read
work.
for me.
It did read fast. It did read
It
fast.
read
And
fast.
it's big print and
I think
it's
I read
double
it too.
spaced. Look at that.
I mean,
It's a double
Wait,
1.5.
different. Is that the large print edition?
Don't make fun of my gun on the side.
Wait, is it really?
No, I don't
Oh.
know. I just got whatever Target had. It was
My
like
mom
10%
did that.
off.
Like she got like I had to laugh because I borrowed a book from her one time. I was like, "Mom, have you reached this stage already?" She's like, "What?" I was like, "It's the large print edition." She's like, "It was on sale." I'm like, "Okay."
That would be me.
hey, I've done it, but that was the only one that came available for my hold, and I was like, book is a book. I don't care.
Hey, Butcher and Blackbird is supposed to be to me finally. I'm almost at my place in line now.
Oh boy, you're in for a treat.
Oh boy. I'm nervous. It's kind of one of those like I have to see what everybody's talking about situations,
curious
but
now.
I'm a little nervous.
Let's make that your book club with
Let's not. I cannot imagine. I think like the trigger warnings on that one are enough all by itself to dissuade
She
me
said,
from
let's
picking
keep this
that.
PG, Wendy.
We could have,
Yeah.
we could have my husband join. He listened to it.
I would get in
That would
trouble
be
if my
fun.
husband
That
would.
could be
You
fun.
got-
So when we had Chantel from Knititude, her husband Todd joined us for part of it too. It ended up being a really funny conversation because we were talking about a rom-com book as well. So
I was gonna put Butcher and Blackbird on hold. It's already on hold.
You did not make it through it.
No, I probably won't. I can't make it through Mr. Fury.
Mr.
Fist of Fury.
Sherry
Henry.
struggles with the Akatar books.
I can't. Okay, so you guys know how I texted you? I had 3 hours left. I have like 2 hours and 58 minutes.
You haven't gotten very
You
far.
haven't made it very far.
2.
They're all
2 minutes. I was like, oh.
I usually listen to 1.25 speed.
Yeah, that's
You
mine
go
too.
to
6
0.25.
hours.
I'm sorry with the yarn. Did it tickle you?
Did you bother?
If you
It
can't make it
tickled
through
him, I
Missing
think. Like, it
Fury,
rubbed
you
against
are
his
not
belly.
gonna make it through Silver Flames.
I'm sorry. I'm a certified prude.
Did you have your pearls to clutch?
There's no more.
They
I just gave her
They
mine.
broke and shoot across the floor.
I literally just gave her my pearls.
All right, like hey, I'm sitting here too.
And this is my first
I am.
book club.
This is mine too.
Yeah. So usually I read a book and then I kind of sit there in the car and I
So
stew
yes,
about it
yes,
for a little
yes.
while. I think about it on my own.
Are you happy?
The audio.
All right, so wait, let's go around and everybody
Right,
share what
yeah.
book they're reading or listening to, books that they are reading or listening to right now. Wendy, go first.
Fist of Fury. Listening.
That is the myth. Come on.
Now I gotta go back and
I'm reading I'm reading B.C. Andrews' Flowers in the Attic.
My God.
I'm reading that too. Yeah, we're reading that both. B.C.
What is
Andrews,
it?
B.C. Andrews' Flowers in the
Oh,
Attic.
yeah, yeah.
For like the 50th time, I'm reading that. And then I'm reading this. Hold on, it's in here.
Okay.
I mean, I won't destroy it.
I just finished a book, so I just started another one.
That's not what
I don't know how to
say.
use this.
Make a comment.
I didn't see it.
It is called Dean Coope's The Bad Weather Man.
Bad Women, okay.
It's a new book, so
I have both the audio and the book, so I go back and forth.
that's what I do too.
What's Mine and Yours from Naima Coster?
Okay.
Hi.
That's what I'm doing.
Chelsea, what about you?
between the legs.
You're making me look this up. So for my
I had to look it
family
up,
book
too.
club this weekend, we're doing West
Your
with
family
Giraffes by
Is
Linda Rutledge. West with Giraffes.
That's supposed to be good.
Oh, yeah.
It is good so
Okay.
far. I mean, it starts off a little slow,
Yeah.
but it's picking up.
Yeah.
So it's not bad. I mean, it can't be too horrible in my mind because I've been reading it to Merida, and that's how she's been passing out at night. So it's knocking out the kid. It's a good book.
It's a winner.
You're gonna say
The
that.
Flower Sisters by Michelle Collins Anderson. I'm listening to it. That's why I brought you guys the ARC. And the third one I don't want to say because it's
Because we're trying to be PG.
we're trying to be PG-13.
All right.
But it's
Worse than Butcher and Blackbird.
What is it?
it's vampires and werewolves and
Oh
Twilight.
my.
I yeeted a potion. At a werewolf.
I still can't believe somebody put that in title. That's hilarious.
I'm still trying to figure
Has
out what that
anyone bought
book
it?
was. I was gonna look for it.
What was
and
the
read
name
it.
of the book though? What was it?
I yeeted a potion at a
Was it?
werewolf.
That was it? I thought you were pulling it out of your butt.
no.
No, I'm
Okay.
not making it up. She's the one that pulled it off the shelf.
During the picture.
Oh, I remember that.
Oh
See,
yeah.
that moment. Yeah. Okay.
So I'm listening to what's that one, Jeanette McCurdy.
Oh,
I'm
glad my
I'm
mom
glad
is
my mom
dead.
is dead.
And
or
that
whatever.
book, yes.
And I'm listening to the audio on that, and I actually really like the audio. I like how she's very deadpan with everything.
She is.
And that's how she is in the show
Yeah,
too.
she's just
Because my
like
kids
him.
have watched a couple of
I
episodes.
think it's because she's
I mean, going through all the
all of that.
That's her like her comedies, you know.
because her
persona.
heart was not in it.
Yeah.
I love her.
I wish I would have gotten
I didn't know who
more
she
of-
was until I saw how popular the book was, and I was like, I should. Oh, look at you.
Only
wish
5
I would've
minutes.
I would have gotten more of where is she at now kind of thing.
Oh yeah. So what else am I reading right now? I'm reading Undue Burden, which is an arc. It's about like post Roe reversal America. It's very hard to
Oh.
read, and I can only read a little bit at a time because it's a very emotional read.
I'm also halfway through another book,
What's that?
The Bachelor by Carly Phillips.
Oh, I think I read that one.
You told me to read it.
Okay. That makes sense.
Sorry, so I have 4 going right now.
I've got another one that's, I think it's called Unperfect. It's a little romance book, but it's like I don't know, consume it in a day kind of a thing.
That's what the werewolf vampire
Yeah.
thing is. It's like one of those where she wrote like 20 or so books and it's just like smut mixed in with some plot. And it's actually to the point where I cannot believe I'm saying this, but I'm actually skipping over the smut to read the plot.
I've gotten that way though. Like
I've done that in books because it's just repetitive.
It's the same, yeah.
Well, it is, but I think
You can
I'm a
only
huge
do so
romance
many
kid
things
lately, and I
until
just
you read Butcher and
can't.
Blackbird.
I'm sorry, say that again.
She's writing it down.
Well, what about Butcher and Blackbird?
Go ahead and read
I
it.
said the smut gets boring because it's like the same thing over and over again. And I said until you read Butcher and Blackbird, strange things happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had
You guys
read
are gonna get
myself
all the
though,
texts I
I'm
get
still
that
on my
book. It's
romance
on hold
kick,
right
and I
now.
think it comes down to like I want to feel things. You know, I want something
Yeah.
that's gonna grab my heart out of my chest.
You need like a build up.
I need some tension. I need some like emotion.
some
and
emotional input.
And
yes.
when I get to the smut parts, I have gotten kind of burnt out on it. I'm just
Yes.
like skipping over it. I'm
Yeah.
like, whatever. I just go through kicks, I think. But yeah, so I'm reading something right now, and
I like
it hasn't
the
even
slow
had a
burn.
smut. It hasn't even had a smut scene yet. They haven't even. I think they kissed twice, and that's it. So
Thank you.
I know you could read this one, Sherry. It would be okay.
I can do it.
I think those are the only books I've got.
So
going
no
right now.
Harlequin romances for you.
I don't even know what that is.
Bodice rippers.
Yeah.
Bodice.
The
No thanks.
half-naked man on the cover,
You
holding
know,
onto the woman.
Fabio,
Boobies almost falling.
Michael Bolton.
Okay. Well, ladies, we are coming up on the end of our hour. Does anybody have anything else to share about the women? Or
Buy it.
Read all her
Read it.
books.
Read it.
Well, not all of her.
No.
If you
I
like
think
your-
like her stuff. I'm still trying to find where I started really
Where the-
liking her books, like where the divide is, because I really dislike some of her older stuff.
I love
Like-
the older stuff.
Oh no, I just can't even.
I
just
love,
get so
like, the
pissed off. I
older,
need
like-
the book across the room.
I like the old like
Amen.
romance stuff that isn't like all feminist. She's got
I
some.
was going to say, I read The Four Winds, and
The
I have
Summer
trouble
Island
reading
is
her
good.
because
It
she's
was
very
old.
bad.
I don't think I read that one.
I'm
Was
just
that
not
before or
myself.
after?
I mean,
Mystic
it's
Lake,
long.
I think.
It was before.
Yeah, that one's good. I love that one.
Mystic Lake?
Yeah, I love that one.
Nope, I hated that one.
See, there
Loved
was
it.
one that we read for book club, for the family book club, and for the life of me, I cannot remember what it was.
It's probably going to.
My husband's going to get the kids.
But it was about a kid that ends up kidnapped, and then she's raised by like wolves and stuff, and then they get her back.
It's a Kristin Hannah book?
Yeah,
I know. No, really?
yeah,
I
it
was
is.
like, that's called the Jungle Book.
I was a boy raised in the jungle.
On that note,
The witching hour. Those are done. All right.
They're calling it.
Well, everybody, thanks for tuning in. This has been so much fun. Thank